Peace to the family. Today, I want to chat about a few incidents that have occurred and are in the national media focus. The first one I want to talk about is something that's happened fairly close to home for me. This incident happened in Ackworth, Georgia, which is about 25 miles outside of Atlanta, Georgia, right? And it happened at one of your more well-known get it all, grab it all spots, right? So there was a man, Indian man by nationality, by the name of Mahendra Patel, 56 years old, from Kennesaw, Georgia, which is probably about 25 miles away from Atlanta. But he was in Ackworth, right? And he was at this particular store where he bumped into a woman, 26 years old, 2 children, by the name of Carolyn Miller, right? He bumped into her, made casual contact with her, said he was looking for some Tylenol in the store. And, I guess she pointed to where the Tylenol was at. He went and got the Tylenol, but subsequent to that, this woman, Carolyn Miller, was riding in a handicapped, the motor scooters for the people that are, are ambulatory challenged, right? And she's not a person that really needs it. She said that she was riding in the scooter because her children like to ride in this scooter, okay? So Mahendra Patel saw one of the children possibly falling off of the scooter. She had 2 children and herself on this scooter, and he stepped in and tried to help her, right? Little did he know this would wind up with this man being charged with kidnapping, simple assault, and simple battery. Right, the incident occurred roughly March the 18th. He wasn't picked up until March the 21st by the Ackworth police. To kind of set some of the background for you, this is the district where MGT, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is the congressional representative of this place, right? So Carolyn Miller basically accused this man of kidnapping her son, of attempting to kidnap her son. He tried to help her because she was having some problem with her child. He went on, got his Tylenol, and went on about his way. A few days later, they're trying to arrest the man, right? This talks about the entitlement that white women often display when facing men of color, right? My analysis comes from the United Compensatory Code System Concept, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of white supremacy by the eminent scholar, Mr. Neely Fuller, right? And the thing about it is, well, not all white people are white supremacists. True statement. But white supremacy is an active thing. And when a white person is practicing racism, white supremacy, then there are white supremacists. And this goes against all people of color when they do these dastardly things, right? So I think about Emmett Till. I think about Emmett Till when this happened. What was this lady's name? I think her name was Carolyn as well. What's that lady name? Carolyn Bryant Dunham. This was the lady that said that Emmett Till whistled at her and it caused Emmett Till to be murdered, right? I'm reminded of another movie, the movie Rosewood, Don Cheadle, Esther Roll, Ving Rhames, Rosewood, about a town in Florida, all-black town that was burned down by a similar type incident. White woman was having an affair with the town sheriff, but when it came to light that she was having this affair, she said, "Oh, it is a Nigger, Nigger, hard R, that did it, came and burned down the town." Right? So Mahendra Patel found himself in a situation where he was cruising in his car somewhere and he was picked up by the Acworth police, sent to jail and indicted for, this was April the 4th. So we talking what, 7 days afterwards? 10 days afterwards. Indicted for attempted kidnapping, simple battery, and simple assault for helping somebody, right? The attorney said it was a simple misunderstanding. To me, that's a white supremacist reaction to it. And all of the reactions that I've seen so far, it always deflects from Carolyn Miller's culpability in this act. But a backstory to it: Carolyn Miller has also sued a driver from one of the driving applications. You know the names of them. Maybe 2 years ago, and this case is currently. He said that they basically a 2019. She accused this driver of SA. Right? You can't really say that word on this platform, so I just say SA'd this person. So Carolyn Miller has a history of these type of attention-seeking, but could be deadly, and it could get a person incarcerated for no reason. So this woman shows a history of this type of behavior, right? But as of this moment, we're dealing with we're dealing with May the 9th or 10th, May the 10th. At the time of this recording, Mr. Patel has been released and he's back at home with his family, right? But no sooner than this, another story comes to prominence in the media, It's about a woman named Shiloh Hendricks in Rochester, Minnesota, who basically accused a 5-year-old copper-colored young boy with autism of stealing something from her at a playground in Rochester, Minnesota. Also, it's a little bit close to home because I spent a little time in the Twin Cities as a labor organizer, and for the most part, this is pre-George Floyd. I found the people of Minnesota to be good and decent people. I never would have thought that you would have had so much racism and white supremacy that was camouflaged and concealed. And it came about rapidly. Like I say, had love for the people of Minnesota, and for the most part, they're decent people. But George Floyd, Philando Castile, another little brother was killed by a police woman who said she said taser, 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 and she was straight gunning them down at the same time. But this is the backdrop to Shiloh Hendricks. This woman calls a 5-year-old young boy on the autistic spectrum a nigger, and it's adamant about it. You know, whereas it had been a teaching moment, say, hey baby, don't, this is for my baby, you know, this is not yours. But she has to go full-blown white supremacist in action, in motion about this. And she was called out by a brother Somali, Shataki Umar, right? And he called her to task on this. And basically, when he called her to task on this, the press went delving into his past, what had he been charged for, as to deflect away from Shiloh Hendricks' deplorable behavior, right? So the main thing with this Shiloh Hendricks thing is that this woman, from a crowdsourcing service, has raised over $500,000 because she says that she has received death threats. Initially, she asked for $50,000, but she's well on her way to $1 million. She's past $500,000. I think she's at $600,000 at this point. And people are sending her gifts and donations for this despicable behavior. And the comments are, they're sending donations of $1,488, which is synonymous to the 14 words of these hate groups. These 14 words are: we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. Right? There's something definitely in the atmosphere that has emboldened racist and white supremacist acts on the everyday level in the United States. Not that it has ever gone away, because it's a system that is built upon white supremacy and racism. So I woke this morning to a reaction to Shiloh Hendrix raising this this amount of money, and it was being compared to Carmelo Anthony, a young man, 17-year-old in Frisco, Texas, who allegedly took the life of another teenager, Austin Metcalf. And through an appeal from a crowdsourcing app, he's raised over $250,000 for defense for his legal expenses, right? And it's been compared to Shiloh Hendrix almost raising $1 million for a racial expletive, for saying a racial expletive, right? But from the reactions that I got, the white folks always deflect and minimize. They say, oh, well, the young boy shouldn't have been taking anything from her bag. This is an autistic child, 5 years old. Five-year-olds oftentimes get into things and do things that they haven't learned right from wrong per se. So that's a moment for correction. That's a moment to educate the child. And even if the child's parents are negligent, to educate the child's parents. It's not a call for racial expletives and just hate, just pure hate. You know, I couldn't see myself, any child, coming to anything, any bag of mine, to the point where I would use a racial expletive or, you know, really have that much smoke for a person over something that could, you know, it's easily a teaching moment, right? But it comes down to basically rewarding racism, and now it's like it's a one-upsmanship. Well, the black people can raise this much money, so we can raise this much money. You know, and I don't really think that you're comparing apples and apples, you know, in terms of the situations. And if we just go back in the history, recent history, we had what's the guy's name that murdered Trayvon Martin? George Zimmerman. They raised plenty of money for George Zimmerman. Darren Brown killed Michael Brown. Darren Wilson killed Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Raised plenty of money for that man, right? The man on the New York subway. They raised plenty of money for that man, right? So when African Americans come together and raise money for a legal defense for a young black man who, for all intents and purposes, has lived a decent life, never been in trouble, just so this young man can get a fair trial, something wrong with that. So now with these incidents, people that donate to a legal defense fund, now that's racism. That's blacks being racist. You know, we're on a slippery slope to hell in the United States of America if people of conscience don't make their voices known, make their voices heard about, you know, these acts. No, I tell you personally that I'm not happy that Austin Metcalf is in his grave. No, I'm not happy about that whatsoever. as a black man, as a father. I'm not looking forward to the possible tragic ending of 2 lives and the everlasting effects that it will have on 2 families, right? I'm a humane person, right? So, in order for me to be balanced, I spoke of these 2 white women that basically got on stage seeking attention, acting a fool. I'll remind you of 2 instances where black women did the same thing. In the 80s, it was Tawana Browley, right? Tawana Browley had basically accused 3 guys in New York City of raping her and, spreading feces all over her and things of that nature, right? Had the black community up in arms, attorney Alton Maddox, Al Sharpton, and what's the brother name? C. Vernon Mason. They came to her defense, and they, in the end, were civilly liable to what's that guy's name? I can't call his name, but they had to pay civilly to this guy, one of the people that had been accused of this act, right? And then not so recently, I remember Crystal Mangum, a girl, she's now in jail for killing her boyfriend, but she accused these lacrosse players at Duke University of rape and sexual assault. So I'll just say it like this. We've got a long way to go. In terms of there being some sort of healing for this nation, and for people to turn their backs on bigoted, prejudiced, racist, and white supremacist acts, right? So if you can get down with what I said in my video, like, subscribe, and add me to your people on YouTube. If not, just keep it pushing. Know that I'm coming from a genuine place when I say this, right? And it's like one of the comments say, basically people are going to be for their own race. But just because you might be for your own race don't mean that you got to be a fool and fall for the okie doke on each issue and not deal with things justly, right? You got to put away all those preconceived notions of this. It's a race. It's a social construct. Right from right is right. Wrong from wrong is wrong. You got to be able to call it for what it is. I'm just calling it for what it is. I'm seeing an upsurge in white supremacy and racist acts, in the United States. So I'm going to call it like that, and I'm not going to deflect from it. I'm going to stand on that 10 toes down. I don't give a damn what you say about it either, because I know in my community, we teach to love instead of hate. With that, I say, if you ain't lived a day without learning something, you wasted a day of living.